Greetings, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the Spring 2016 series here on the virtual office hours. My name is John Fia. I chair the history department and teach American history here at Messiah College. Abby Blakeney, as usual, our producer behind the camera. And we have the founding fathers with us, including our George Washington bobblehead. I'm in Mount Vernon for a month. I'm coming back on the weekends here to film these virtual office hours for you. That's not the only reason I'm coming back, but filming them during the weekend. So the George Washington bobblehead is taking on much more significance for me as we film these next several episodes. We have been talking about the relationship between Christianity and the American founding. And we have been exploring some of the questions that I have been raising, or that I raised in my book, Was America Founded as a Christian Nation? A Historical Introduction. Now, as we've been saying in every episode, the book is coming out in a second edition in the fall of 2016. So we thought it would be a good opportunity. We take the opportunity here on the virtual office hours to revisit some of the themes of that book in preparation for the second edition. So we spent most of the fall talking about the idea that America is a Christian nation and sort of following that idea through the course of American history. This semester, this season, if you will, spring 2016, we're talking a lot more about the 18th century and the Revolutionary era. We have talked about the colonies and their relationship to the American Revolution. We have talked about the role of the Bible in the coming of the American Revolution. We've talked about the Declaration of Independence and the God references there. We want to spend today, and maybe a little bit of next week, of next office hours, talking about the Constitution. Now, in the book, the chapter on the Constitution in the book, I call the Constitution the Godless Constitution. And what I mean by that is that the Constitution does not necessarily, I should say it's neutral on the question of God. It doesn't mention God at all in the United States Constitution. There are two, maybe you could say three, fundamental references to religion. There's only one in the actual original document of the Constitution, and that's Article 6. In Article 6 of the Constitution, and you can see it on the screen here. You can read it word for word. But the idea here is behind Article 6 is that there will be no religious test or religious oath for office holding for federal officials. So if you're a member of the Senate, president, member of the House of Representatives, any kind of federal political official, it doesn't matter what religion you practice. There will be no test to see if you're a Christian or a Jew or some other form of religion. In the actual Constitution, as it was written in 1787, that's the only reference to religion. Now, if you were to add the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments, which come a few years later, there you get another reference to religion, actually two references to religion in the First Amendment. The first reference being what is often referred to as the Disestablishment Clause, which we'll see here up on the screen. The idea that there is no established church, no official state church in the United States. And many have interpreted this as a sign of America being founded and based on the idea of religious freedom, in which no church is more privileged than another church or another religious body for that matter. Now, there's a lot of debate. Some would say that this Establishment Clause only applies to Christian groups. So in other words, there'd be no Methodists. We're not a Methodist nation, or the Presbyterians are not the official state church. It's probably more likely, as I read the founders, that the founders meant this in a little bit of a broader sense to suggest that religion of any type will not be privileged. So again, no established religion. The Disestablishment Clause. Also in the First Amendment, you have, of course, the Free Exercise Clause, which says that essentially, again, you can see it on the screen here, essentially anybody can worship God freely without government coercion. So again, two dimensions of religion introduced into the First Amendment. Disestablishment, we will not be a Christian nation or a particular nation associated with a particular denomination, no religion will be established. We're not a Jewish nation, a Christian nation, a Methodist nation, a Presbyterian nation, and then the free exercise clause. People are free, Americans are free to practice their religion as they see fit. And this has also been interpreted, of course, that you're also free not to practice religion. So the Constitution, clearly godless. By the way, there is a reference at the end of the Constitution written in 1787 that does reference the year of our Lord. Now, so the Lord is mentioned, right? Now, two quick things about that. One is, this was a common way, of course, of dating documents in the 18th century, the year of our Lord, 1787. And it's also worth noting that that was probably tacked on to the Constitution after the Constitutional Convention had already left and already sort of ended. So they quick tacked on the date. So there is a mention of God, or the Lord, if you will, at the end. But it's really hard to say, as some political people, some political commentators and even politicians are saying today, that somehow the Constitution teaches some type of Christianity, or it's a Christian document, or it's sacred in some way. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Virtual Office Hours.